Namaha. Om Gam Ganapati Namaha. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Brahma Merastriparan Takare. Anushashi Bamisito. Buddhasha Gurusha Shukra. Shani Rahu Keteva. Sarve Graha Shantikara Bhavantu. Om. Well, greetings and welcome to another episode of Cosmic Kev 100, your weekly astro video zine that takes you through the planets, the houses, the signs of the zodiac, and helps make it sense in the tropical astrology tradition according to your rising sign, moon sign, and if all you know is your sun sign, we'll work with that, you know. We can work with all three. So this is for Wednesday, October 15th through Tuesday, October 21st. So we're winding down the Libra season this week. And so, you know, which is like the first sign of harvest. We're finally getting some rain here up in Northern California, which is wonderful because less worries and dangers with fire right now as the cooler storms are coming in. And we have for Wednesday morning, you're going to wake up, the moon is going to be actually in the constellation of Cancer, in a lunar mansion or nakshatra, and this is a Vedic astrology part, known as Ashlesha. Ashlesha is ruled by Mercury. Ashlesha is all within the constellation of Cancer. And Ashlesha is ruled by the Nagas, which are like snakes. So this particular moon is about transformation. And, you know, it can have sort of a kundalini sexual energy. Essentially, though, it's a moksha planet. And all the Mercury-ruled nakshatras, I mean, you know, it's a moksha sign. The moon is a moksha planet. And moon and Mercury makes Ashlesha incredibly intelligent, actually. So, you know, get your thinking cap on tomorrow and you'll be making some sense. And, you know, you'll be helping people. And there's some shedding of the skin, there's some transformation associated with this particular nakshatra as well. And also kind of like hiding and sometimes, you know, avoidance because Mars is debilitated in this moon, you know, and Mars is isn't the strongest right now in sidereal Libra. I know in Western astrology it's in Scorpio. So it's just sort of like there's sort of this other feeling of hesitancy that comes with that particular moon. Okay, so sun sign, you know, we'll talk about Western astrology, Libra, because we're headed towards a new moon. That will be a Libra new moon in both Vedic astrology and tropical Western astrology. And it corresponds with the Hindi festival called Diwali, where lights everywhere. There's actually a festival of lights. I think there's going to be some kind of festival of lights this weekend in Chico, actually. So that's interesting, that coinciding. And but all in all, I think things are balancing. We have Jupiter is moving on Friday into, or rather Saturday, into sidereal Jupiter and in Cancer. So sidereal Jupiter in Cancer is considered benefic and exalted, so things are supposed to be better. We get like a 6-week period of bliss after this, sort of a blessing of sorts. You know, depends on what your rising sun moon is. You know how this is all going to work out. Okay, so we're going to go sign by sign in the Western tropical tradition, starting with you, Aries. So, greetings, Aries. Welcome to your horoscope. Libra is your partnership sign, so that's who you engage with, and that's who you idealize more as a mate in some ways, or people with planets in Libra. Mercury and Mars, you know, it is like when they're conjoined, they say it's the conjunction of lawyers, you know, and people like to argue with this. Charlie Kirk actually had this in his chart. And so, and I think it's also cultural too. Some cultures enjoy arguing, and it's, you know, it's perfectly okay. Some cultures are like offended by it, so it's just, you know, it's hard to know. I know it takes courage to be yourself, and So Pluto and Mars have been in sort of an opposition. It's not that hard right now, but tomorrow would be a good time for you to socialize. It'd be a good time for an Aries to even travel, take a little trip, see your children, especially if you have children, lovers, people of the heart. Okay, greetings Taurus, welcome to your horoscope. So now that Venus just moved over into Libra, and you would think in Western astrology that'd be all hunky and dandy, but actually Venus in Libra for you, because it's in the 6th house, it brings up challenges and people that don't necessarily have your back. And so you have to account for that. Also, making sure you get good sleep. I think the nice part about Venus transiting the 6th house is like getting some nice clothes. Weather's cooled down, getting some clothes for fall. That could be nice and it can be fun. But you do have Mercury and Mars in the 7th house. So, and now there's sort of like the balance in that in relationships, taking initiative, but also being receptive and being a good listener. It's part of what's going to make things happen. So, here we are. Greetings, Gemini. Now, Uranus is a strange outer planet. Wasn't discovered till we found the telescope in the 1700s, and around the time where Ben Franklin did his little lightning electricity experiments. So we associate electricity, shocks, revolutions, unconventional things like the technology that was a telescope that helped discover Uranus. I mean, you can see it with the naked eye if you're in like Nevada on a really clear night. Uranus is sometimes considered to be like a higher octave of Mercury, I've heard before, like it's the insane genius. And they associate it with Aquarius, but Aquarius is essentially Saturn. Saturn ruled, the old school, Scorpio, essentially Mars. Yeah, I get all that Pluto outer stuff, but essentially they have a function, and that function happens within their element. In Aries' case, it's going to be fire. In Gemini's case, it's air. So you're working with air in Uranus, and so it's a compatible energy. And a lot of crazy stuff and a lot of crazy technology happened in the 1940s and the last time this happened. I don't want to get into it, but you go look at the 1940s and look at inventions, maybe even weaponry, television, things like that, and yeah, you'll see what Uranus and Gemini did. And greetings, Cancer. The good news is Jupiter's still in your 1st house. Yay! So you're reaping some amazing benefits right now this year. Moon in the 2nd house. So tomorrow, good day for making money, a good day for establishing relations with families, things like that. To do that type of thing on Wednesday, rather. But when we get to the weekend, Moon will be moving into Virgo, and that'll be a 3rd house. So seeing friends, siblings, all of that could end up being something, something interesting for you. Mercury and Mars in essentially the 5th house, and Sun and Venus are in the 4th house. So there's a vibe of stay at home, be with family, take care of parents, take care of children, work on things that are of personal value to you. Here we go. We have Leo. So Moon's in your 1st house Wednesday. So Wednesday's a powerful day for you as a Leo, especially if you're born after August 3rd. I'd say for you, that those people between the 3rd and 22nd, the Moon is, passing your sun sign. And, things kind of light up a little bit more emotionally when that happens. Plus your thinking cap is on. You'll be like the flavor of the month. And then working on money making this weekend, values, seeing family, that will probably work out well for you. Libra is socializing in a sense for you, but it's about siblings and old friends. Greetings, Virgo. Welcome to your horoscope. So, Libra time, it's about values. Mercury is in Scorpio. Not the greatest place for Mercury, but it's in the 3rd house. So Virgo, this is a perfect Mercury for you. This is working really well. And so you get your message across. Mars is there too. Mars is really good in the 3rd house. So being courageous about what kind of actions you're taking, what kind of plans you're taking, goes very well with this current transit this week. Now, Wednesday is a little kind of iffy. You might want to lay low. Pay attention to your spiritual life. That's where, the rubber's going to hit the road for you. And, and just being alone in nature, appreciating who you are as a being, like being in a cocoon, ready to be reborn. Because that next day, come Friday, you'll be like reborn. Moon will go into Virgo. It'll be there Friday, most of all of Saturday, most of Sunday. So like this weekend is meant for Virgo. Yay. Okay. Greetings on Libra. Welcome to your horoscope. Happy birthday if you're a Libra having a birthday this week. Let's see, who can I think of having birthdays this week? Well, Nancy Jennings. So greetings, Nancy. I believe she's having a birthday on the 16th. So wishing you a happy birthday. And Andy Tomaselli, I believe his birthday is October 21st. So happy birthday to Andy. So at least I got two that I was able to pull out of the cobwebs of memories in my mind there, having a birthday this week. And so this is a time when you get renewed, basically. And I'd say just between now and Tuesday. Tuesday's a new moon, so that's really going to recharge you, reset everything. And I think that's a good thing. And, you'll have that kind of flavor of the month feeling. I think it'll continue for a couple weeks at least. Okay, so greetings, Scorpio. Welcome to your horoscope. Libra time, a good time to lay low. Try not to say so much. Be at peace. Be at peace with your inner self. Try not to get swooned. Well, you have to deal with limits with your children. Your children might have some limits right now, and you just gotta, encourage them to do the best. You're really in a good place for spiritual studies right now. And, Wednesday looks like kind of a work day. And so, you have to put on a good show for work. And otherwise, I say just lay low, get plenty of rest, plenty of sleep, pay attention to your spiritual life. That's really the best thing you can do. Okay, greetings, Sagittarius. Welcome to your horoscope. So, Libra time's your 11th house. And 11th house is socializing. It can be helpful friends. So this is actually a really fun time for you. This is kind of your last 8 days, basically, of like being the party animal, as the sun transits your 11th house. Jupiter in Cancer. I mean, a lot of people get benefits from it that, this for you is transformational. So if you pay attention to your spiritual life, make offerings and be generous and just kind of lay low, kind of go on some sort of egoless path for a little while, I think you're going to reap some amazing rewards. And Moon Wednesday looks like a great day for you. Weekends, kind of a performance time for you at work or whatever your career hobbies are, whatever you want to do. But mostly, you're just enjoying a social life. Greetings, Capricorn. Welcome to your horoscope. So, Libra's another cardinal sign. So there's like this essence of motivation. But the motivation is in air, and it's somehow creating some kind of design or harmony or balance. And that's how you actually work, Capricorn. You work in the 10th house. So this is your karma with the public. How are you bringing balance? How are you allowing other people to see like a beautiful or creative idea? And even though like people say, oh yeah, Capricorn, they're kind of stuck in materialism. I mean, some are, but some are not. Some are like dreamers like Martin Luther King Jr. and some are actually very creative like David Bowie, the musician, and Elvis Presley, Jimmy Page. There's been all kinds of very creative Capricorn people. And so you have to find a way to express that creativity. I mean, I think Wednesday is more of a lay low. The weekend looks super fun for Capricorn. Like this would be a good time to blow out of town and check something else different. Hello, Aquarius. Welcome to your horoscope. So, Pluto will always give you insights. It'll always help you see behind the veil, see a little more, question your soul purpose. There's a little bit of questioning going on because we're coming from a very far out cosmic place with Pluto. But the real deal is Libra is a great sign for you. It's the ninth house, so that's the father, that's foreign cultures, different travel, music, being a benefactor to somebody, giving, making donations, showing your generous, your kindest side. And you tend to be sort of luckier in this. Your performance looks good with 10th house Scorpio, Moon and Mercury, and rather Mars in there. So you're taking some leadership initiative and making things work. And I think with Saturn in the second house, it's just being more conservative with your spending and try not to put your foot in your mouth. Uh, my Aquarius friends are like, what? They don't know me very well. Okay, well, let's see. Greetings, Pisces. Welcome to your horoscope. So you've had Saturn in the first house again, which means it's time to refine your commitment, refine your maturity, refine your observation, your wisdom, your patience, your timing. And I mean, you're pretty good at realizing everybody suffers. So, I mean, I'll give Pisces a handle on that. But it's like sometimes you just have to put both feet on the ground and approach things from a humble way. It's like, yeah, I make mistakes sometimes, This isn't as fun for me as I'd like it to be. I have a hard time accepting what my task is. This isn't always who I want to present myself as, But you have to present yourself the best you can, what your responsibility is. Sometimes you have to delegate responsibility to others, and that's kind of what Libra time is about for you, is just letting go of all those things. Jupiter in Pisces, though, I mean, Jupiter is in Cancer, and that works very well for you, because that's your fifth house. So that's a karaka, that's an activator. It's good fortune for your children, good fortune in love, travel, things near to your heart and soul. So that's the good news. The other good news is whenever you subscribe to me, I get really happy, and I just appreciate that. Whenever you share it with somebody new, I want to hear your opinion. I want to hear if any of this stuff matters to you over the weeks. If you have some stories to tell about how something affected you astrologically, I'd love to hear it. You can respond on the page, the Cosmic Kev 100. And thank you so much. I look forward to being with you next week when we do this again. And Queen Job Bless is here helping me today. Come on, Queen Job Bless. I love Queen Job Bless. And we were at Tempo at Sipo's, so a little plug for Sipo's, Jamaican in Chico. And, I introduced her as Queen Job Bless. And he said, well, man, you must be King Job Bless. I said, well, yeah, I am. And so that's okay. Anyhow, all the best to all of you. And I look forward to being with you next week. Om Shanti 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 Om Tat Sat. Yeah, you are the shining jewel. Look at this new moon.